The massive holographic projection filled the sky above every major city on Earth. 12 alien figures, each more terrifying than the last, stared down at humanity with cold contempt. Their leader, a creature with 6 eyes and metallic skin that seemed to shift like liquid mercury, spoke in a voice that shook windows and rattled bones. "Humans of Earth," the voice boomed across every language simultaneously, somehow understood by every person regardless of their native tongue. "You have 36 standard hours to surrender your planet to the Galaxy Council. Your species has been deemed unsuitable for continued existence." In the United Nations Emergency Command Center deep beneath New York City, Admiral Sarah Chen watched the transmission with growing dread. Around her, the world's top military leaders and scientists frantically worked at holographic displays, their faces pale with fear. "How many ships?" Chen asked her aide, Lieutenant Marcus Rivera. "Our satellites are picking up." "Admiral, you're not going to believe this." Rivera's voice cracked. 3,000 vessels, each one the size of Manhattan. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the UN's chief xenobiologist, looked up from her scanner readings. "Their energy signatures are off the charts. One of those ships could glass an entire continent." The alien leader continued speaking. "Your weapons are primitive. Your technology is laughable. Your defenses are non-existent. We offer you this mercy. Surrender now, and your deaths will be swift." Chen clenched her fists. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries. Not like this. Never like this. However, the alien's voice took on an almost amused tone. "We are curious about one thing. Our records show that humans possess something we have not encountered in our conquest of 47 star systems. Something you call hope." The projection zoomed in on the creature's face. Its 6 eyes seemed to look directly at each person, watching. "We will return in 36 hours to witness this hope of yours. Show us what makes humanity believe it can survive against impossible odds. Entertain us with your futile resistance before we end your miserable existence." The transmission cut off abruptly. The sky returned to normal, but the silence that followed was deafening. Across Earth, 7 billion people stood frozen, processing what they had just witnessed. In the command center, alarms began blaring. "Admiral," Rivera shouted, "we're getting reports from around the globe. Every nuclear silo, every military base, every defense satellite, they're all offline." "What do you mean offline?" Chen demanded. "They've been shut down remotely. Somehow, they've neutralized our entire military infrastructure without firing a single shot." Dr. Vasquez pulled up her readings again. "That's impossible. Our systems aren't even connected to external networks. How could they?" Her words were cut off as every screen in the command center flickered. For a moment, alien symbols scrolled across the displays, then everything went dark. In the darkness, a child's voice echoed from the speakers. Not alien, but human. A little girl, maybe 8 years old. "Why do the monsters want to hurt us? Mommy?" The voice was followed by another, an elderly man. "I lived through 3 wars, son. This is different. This is the end." Then a teenager. "I was supposed to graduate next month. I was going to study astronomy, maybe discover new worlds someday." More voices joined in. Mothers, fathers, children, grandparents, all expressing their fears, their dreams, their love for each other. The aliens had somehow tapped into every communication device on Earth, broadcasting humanity's raw emotions back to them. "They're listening to us," Chen whispered. "They're studying us." The voices faded, replaced by the alien leader's laughter. "Fascinating. You feel fear, yet you continue to function. You face extinction, yet you cling to your meaningless aspirations. Most species simply cower when we arrive. You confuse us." The screens flickered back to life, showing the alien fleet positioned at the edge of Earth's solar system. "Very well, humans. You have 35 hours and 47 minutes remaining. Use them wisely. We shall observe your final hours with great interest." As the communication ended, Chen looked around the command center. Her team stared back at her, waiting for orders, waiting for hope. "Rivera, get me a direct line to every world leader. Vasquez, I need everything we know about faster-than-light communication and energy weapons. We have 35 hours to figure out how to fight gods. But even as she gave the orders, a nagging thought crept into her mind. Why had the aliens given them a countdown? Why hadn't they simply attacked immediately? What were they really after? Outside, the first riots had begun. But in the command center, something else was stirring. Not panic, but determination. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their refusal to give up, even when all hope seemed lost. The countdown had begun. But perhaps the aliens had made their first mistake. They had given humanity time to think. And thinking, Admiral Chen realized, might be exactly what they needed to do. Chapter 2. The Awakening. 18 hours after the ultimatum, the world had changed completely. Cities that should have been in chaos were instead organizing with military precision. People who should have been looting were instead helping their neighbors. Children who should have been crying were instead asking how they could help. Admiral Chen hadn't slept in 20 hours. In that time, she had spoken with every world leader, coordinated with every military force, and reviewed every piece of alien technology research humanity had ever conducted. The answer was always the same. They were hopelessly outmatched. "Admiral, you need to see this," Dr. Vasquez called from her workstation. Her voice carried a strange mix of excitement and confusion. Chen walked over to find Vasquez staring at a complex display of energy readings. "What am I looking at?" "Psionic energy signatures. We've been monitoring global brain activity since the announcement, and something incredible is happening." Vasquez highlighted several spikes on her graph. "Human consciousness is synchronizing worldwide." "What does that mean in simple terms, Doctor?" "It means that somehow subconsciously humanity is beginning to think as one. The aliens mentioned they were curious about our hope. I think their scan for emotional responses triggered something in our species, something dormant." Before Chen could respond, Lieutenant Rivera burst into the room. "Admiral, the aliens are moving. 3 ships have broken formation and are approaching Jupiter." On the main screen, long-range telescope images showed 3 of the massive alien vessels accelerating toward the gas giant. They moved with impossible grace for objects so large, their hulls gleaming with energy that bent light around them. "Time to Jupiter at their current speed?" Chen asked. 14 minutes, Rivera replied. "What's at Jupiter that they want?" Dr. Vasquez suddenly grabbed Chen's arm. "The probe. Europa Research Station launched a deep space probe toward Jupiter's moons last month. It was testing a new form of quantum communication." "So? Admiral, what if they're not here to destroy us? What if they're here because of something we've already done?" Before Chen could ask what she meant, every screen in the command center activated simultaneously. But this time, the transmission wasn't coming from the alien fleet. It was coming from Jupiter. The image was grainy, clearly from the Europa probe's emergency camera. It showed one of the alien ships docking with something massive, something that definitely wasn't supposed to be orbiting Jupiter. "Is that?" Rivera began. "A space station," Chen finished. "But we didn't build that." The probe's audio crackled to life. Human voices, dozens of them, speaking in panicked whispers. "They've found us. After all these years, they've finally found us. The Council will destroy Earth just like they destroyed the others. Unless the awakening happens. Unless the humans on Earth are ready." Dr. Vasquez stared at the screen. "Those are human voices. But how is that possible? We've never sent colonists to Jupiter." Chen felt a chill run down her spine. "Unless we did, and we were never told about it." The transmission continued. A clearer voice emerged from the chaos. An older man speaking with quiet authority. "Name is Dr. James Harrison. I was part of a secret colony mission launched in 2019. We weren't the first. There have been human colonies throughout the solar system for decades, all hidden from Earth's population. We were meant to be humanity's backup plan." The image shifted, showing the interior of the hidden station. Hundreds of humans worked frantically at advanced computer terminals, their technology far beyond anything Earth possessed. The Galaxy Council has been hunting human colonies for 30 years. We're the last survivors of 17 hidden settlements. Earth, you need to listen carefully. The Council didn't come to destroy you. They came because something on Earth has awakened, something that could threaten their entire empire. Chen exchanged glances with her team. What awakening? Dr. Harrison's image flickered as the aliens boarded his station. In the background, energy weapons discharged and people screamed. The collective consciousness. When humans face extinction, we don't just fight individually. We become something greater. The Council has encountered this before on other worlds. They've conquered, but never on this scale. Never with 7 billion minds. Explosions rocked the hidden station. Dr. Harrison looked directly into the camera. Earth, you have 18 hours. Don't use them to build weapons, use them to connect, use them to become what you were always meant to be. The Council fears only one thing in the entire galaxy: a united human mind. The transmission cut to static, then died completely. In the command center, silence stretched for long moments. Then Dr. Vasquez spoke, her voice barely a whisper. The synchronization readings, they're accelerating. Whatever Dr. Harrison was talking about, it's already happening. Chen stared at the dead screen, processing the implications. Hidden colonies, secret technology. And now, the suggestion that humanity possessed some kind of collective power that terrified an empire spanning 47 star systems. Rivera, get me a direct line to every major population center on Earth. Not just the leaders, everyone. Every radio station, every television network, every internet connection. Admiral, what are you thinking? Chen turned to her team, and for the first time since the ultimatum began, she smiled. I'm thinking the aliens made a mistake. They wanted to see our hope. They wanted to study our collective consciousness. But what they've done is given us the key to unlock something we never knew we had. She looked back at the screen showing the distant alien fleet. Dr. Harrison said we need to connect. Fine, let's connect 7 billion minds and show the Galaxy Council what human hope really looks like. But as the team rushed to establish global communications, none of them noticed the small blip on their sensors. A single alien scout ship that had somehow appeared inside Earth's atmosphere without triggering any alarms. The real test was about to begin, and somewhere in the hidden depths of human consciousness, something ancient and powerful was starting to wake up. Chapter 3. The Convergence. 6 hours remained until the Galaxy Council's deadline. Across Earth, something unprecedented was happening. In Tokyo, a programmer named Kenji Nakamura stopped mid-keystroke, his eyes suddenly wide. In Sao Paulo, Dr. Maria Santos looked up from her medical research, confusion and wonder crossing her face. In Cairo, Professor Ahmad Hassan put down the ancient text he was translating, his hands trembling. They were all experiencing the same thing, a sudden, overwhelming sense of connection to every other human being on the planet. Admiral Chen stood in the emergency broadcast center, about to address the world. Behind her, screens showed real-time data from Dr. Vasquez's consciousness monitoring equipment. The synchronization readings were off the charts. Admiral, Rivera whispered urgently, we're picking up massive energy fluctuations from population centers worldwide. It's like each city is becoming a giant transmitter. Transmitting what? We don't know, but the aliens have noticed. 3 more ships are moving toward Earth. Chen nodded grimly. They were out of time for gradual approaches. Put me through to everyone, every device on Earth. Rivera activated the global broadcast system. Chen's image appeared on every screen. Her voice reached every radio, her words translated instantly by AI systems into every language. People of Earth, she began. 6 hours ago, we learned that we are not alone in the universe. We also learned that we may not survive to see tomorrow. But in the last 18 hours, something remarkable has happened. You've felt it, haven't you? The connection, the sense that you're part of something larger. Around the world, people stopped what they were doing and listened. In refugee camps, in corporate boardrooms, in small villages and massive cities, 7 billion humans turned their attention to Admiral Chen's words. We've discovered that there have been human colonies hidden throughout our solar system for decades. They've been hunted and destroyed by the same aliens who now threaten Earth. But these colonies sent us a message before they died. They told us that we possess something the Galaxy Council fears, the ability to unite our consciousness when faced with extinction. In the command center, Dr. Vasquez watched her instruments with growing amazement. Admiral, the synchronization is reaching critical levels. I'm seeing brainwave patterns that shouldn't be possible. It's like the entire species is becoming a single organism. Chen continued her broadcast. I don't fully understand what's happening to us, but I know this. We were never meant to face this alone. Every human who has ever lived, every dream we've shared, every act of love and sacrifice and hope, it's all connected. And right now, that connection is becoming real. The alien scout ship that had been hiding in Earth's atmosphere suddenly decloaked above major cities worldwide. But instead of attacking, it simply observed. On the main alien vessel, the Six-Eyed, leader watched the Earth broadcast with growing agitation. Commander, one of his subordinates reported, the human consciousness network is approaching critical mass. If they achieve full convergence, I know what happens if they achieve full convergence, the leader snapped. It's how the Terrans destroyed half our fleet at Proxima Centauri. It's how the human colony at Vega turned our own weapons against us. But this is different. This is their homeworld. 7 billion minds instead of a few thousand. Back on Earth, Chen made her final appeal. In 5 hours, the Galaxy Council will return expecting to find us cowering in fear. Instead, I want them to find something they've never encountered before. Humanity united. Not as individuals fighting alone, but as a single force working. Together, she paused, feeling something strange happening in her own mind. Images and thoughts that weren't her own began flowing through her consciousness. She saw Kenji in Tokyo, realizing that the code he was writing could somehow interface with alien technology. She saw Dr. Santos in São Paulo, understanding that human biology contained quantum elements that could generate massive energy. She saw Professor Hassan in Cairo, recognizing that ancient human texts described this exact moment. I can see you, Chen whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. All of you. I can feel what you're feeling, know what you're knowing. This is what the aliens fear. This is why they've been hunting us. Around the world, the same realization was dawning. Humanity wasn't just becoming connected, they were becoming powerful. Every human mind linked to every other created a processing capacity that dwarfed any computer. Every human heart beating in rhythm generated an energy field that could be felt across light years. In the alien fleet, emergency alarms began blaring. Commander, the humans are generating a psionic field strong enough to disrupt our navigation systems. Our weapons are experiencing interference. And sir, we're detecting similar energy signatures from 17 other star systems. The leader's 6 eyes widened in horror. The other colonies, the humans we thought we destroyed, they're still alive. Sir, incoming transmission from the Terran survivors at Proxima Centauri. The holographic display activated, showing Dr. Harrison, alive but changed. His eyes glowed with an inner light, and when he spoke, his voice carried harmonics that suggested he wasn't speaking alone. Galaxy Council, Dr. Harrison said, but the voice was multiplied as if thousands spoke in unison. You have made a grave error. You have given humanity what we needed most, a reason to unite completely. The alien leader tried to maintain his composure. Impossible. We destroyed your colonies. We watched your ships burn. You destroyed our bodies, came the response. But you cannot destroy human consciousness. We uploaded ourselves into quantum networks seconds before your attacks. We've been waiting, planning, preparing for this moment when Earth would finally awaken. On Earth, the convergence reached its peak. 7 billion minds suddenly shared one thought, one purpose, one overwhelming surge of unified will. The alien scout ships above Earth's cities began to shudder and spark. In the command center, every piece of human technology suddenly came online with capabilities far exceeding their original specifications. Computers processed data at quantum speeds. Communication arrays reached across interstellar distances. Defense satellites that had Been disabled hours ago, reactivated with energy sources that shouldn't have existed. Dr. Vasquez stared at her readings in disbelief. Admiral, the collective consciousness has achieved something I thought was impossible. They've turned every human being into a component of a massive quantum computer, and the processing power, it's astronomical. Chen nodded, but she was no longer just Admiral Chen. She was part of something infinitely larger. 7 billion humans plus the uploaded consciousness of every colony that had ever been established. Together they began to understand truths about the universe that individual minds could never grasp. Galaxy Council, Chen spoke, but her voice carried the weight of the entire human species. Your 36 hours have expired, but you misunderstood our nature. We are not your subjects to be conquered. We are not your entertainment to be observed. The massive alien fleet began moving toward Earth, but their weapons were already malfunctioning as the human psionic field interfered with their technology. We are humanity, Chen continued, her voice now echoing across space itself. And we have an offer for you. In the alien flagship, the six-eyed leader felt something he had never experienced in his 1,000-year life. Genuine fear. What are you? He whispered. The response came not from Chen alone, but from 7 billion voices speaking as one. We are what you could have been, if you had chosen unity over conquest. But your choice has consequences. Every alien ship in the fleet suddenly found their weapon systems turning on each other. And now, humanity concluded, it's time for you to face judgment. The Galaxy Council, conquerors of 47 star systems, was about to learn what happened when an entire species decided to fight back as one. But the real surprise was yet to come. Chapter 4. The Revelation. What happened next defied every law of physics the Galaxy Council thought they understood. The human psionic field didn't just interfere with alien technology. It began rewriting it. Across the 3,000-ship fleet, weapon systems converted themselves into communication arrays. Navigation computers started calculating routes away from Earth instead of toward it. Life support systems began playing what could only be described as human music. On the flagship, the six-eyed alien leader watched in horror as his own crew began to change. Their thoughts, previously focused solely on conquest and domination, suddenly became filled with unfamiliar concepts: empathy, curiosity, hope. Commander, his navigation officer reported, but her voice carried a strange new tone. Wonder. The humans aren't attacking us, they're sharing with us. Sharing what? The leader demanded. Before anyone could answer, every screen on the ship activated. But instead of tactical displays or weapon readouts, they showed something no member of the Galaxy Council had seen in millennia: memories of peace, human children playing in parks, families gathering for meals, scientists collaborating across continents to solve problems, artists creating beauty for no reason other than the joy of creation, strangers helping strangers simply because it was the right thing to do. Turn it off, the leader commanded, but his crew was transfixed. Sir, his weapons officer whispered, when did we stop being like this? Back on Earth, Admiral Chen, still connected to the global consciousness but retaining her individual awareness, finally understood what was really happening. They're not just conquerors, she said aloud. Her words carried instantly to every human mind. They're refugees. Through the quantum link now connecting human and alien technology, the truth began to emerge. The Galaxy Council hadn't always been an empire of destruction. Millions of years ago they had been explorers, peacekeepers, gardeners of civilization. But something had happened. Something that turned them from protectors into predators. Dr. Vasquez, her consciousness expanded beyond anything she had thought possible, suddenly accessed alien historical records that had been sealed for eons. Admiral, she gasped. I'm seeing their past. They encountered something. A species that had achieved what we just achieved. Complete unity of consciousness. But that species used their power to dominate others. The Galaxy Council fought them for centuries, and the war changed them. The revelation flowed through the human network like electricity. The Galaxy Council had become conquerors not by choice, but by necessity. They had learned that unified consciousness led to tyranny, so they had suppressed their own unity and turned to technology and force instead. For millions of years, they had been searching the galaxy, destroying any species that showed signs of developing collective consciousness, not out of malice, but out of terror that they would face another war like the one that had nearly destroyed the universe. On the alien flagship, the leader suddenly found himself connected to the human network against his will. For the first time in millions of years, he experienced the thoughts and feelings of others as if they were his own. He felt Chen's determination to protect her species. He felt Rivera's loyalty to his commander. He felt Dr. Vasquez's wonder at scientific discovery. He felt the love of 7 billion humans for their families, their friends, their world, and he remembered what it felt like to care about others. "We were wrong," he whispered, tears streaming down his metallic face. "We've been wrong for so long." The human consciousness reached out to him, not with force or domination, but with understanding and compassion. "You were afraid," came the collective response. "You saw unity become tyranny once and you thought it was inevitable. But unity doesn't have to mean control. It can mean connection. It can mean growth. It can mean becoming more than the sum of your parts." Through the quantum link, humanity began sharing something unprecedented, their memories of failure and recovery. Every war Earth had fought and learned from. Every genocide that had led to greater compassion. Every mistake that had taught them to be better. "You don't have to be alone anymore," the human collective offered. "You don't have to carry the burden of protecting the galaxy through conquest. There's another way." The alien leader looked around. His bridge, his crew, connected now to human consciousness, were experiencing emotions they had suppressed for millions of years. Wonder, joy, hope. "What are you offering?" he asked. "Partnership," Admiral Chen replied, speaking now for all humanity. "Help us become what you were meant to be. Explorers, not conquerors. Gardeners, not destroyers. Together we can find a better way to protect the galaxy from the kind of tyranny you once fought." But even as the offer was made, alarms began sounding on both human and alien ships. "Admiral," Rivera shouted, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from outside the solar system. Something big is coming." Dr. Vasquez checked her readings and paled. "It's them. The original enemy. The species that turned the Galaxy Council into conquerors in the first place. The human consciousness expansion. It's attracted their attention. Through the quantum link, alien historical records revealed the truth. The Devourers. A species that had achieved collective consciousness but used it only to consume others, absorbing their knowledge and power while leaving empty husks behind. They had been dormant for millions of years, but the sudden emergence of a 7 billion mind human network had awakened them. The Galaxy Council leader looked at Chen through the view screen. "Admiral, the offer you just made, we accept. But you need to understand what's coming. The Devourers don't just conquer worlds, they consume minds. If they reach Earth, then we fight them together," Chen replied firmly. 7 billion humans, 3,000 alien ships, and whatever colonies are still out there. It's time to show the galaxy what unity really means. As the Devourer fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, humanity and the Galaxy Council faced their first test as allies. The real war was about to begin. But for the first time in millions of years, the Galaxy Council remembered what they were fighting for. Not conquest, but protection. Not domination, but hope. And humanity was about to discover that their awakening was just the beginning of something much larger. Epilogue. The New Dawn. 3 months after what historians would call the convergence, Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, humanity's first joint construction project with the Galaxy Council. Through the transparent aluminum windows, she could see Earth below, no longer alone in the cosmos. The war with the Devourers had lasted exactly 47 hours. When 7 billion human minds unified with the collective knowledge of the Galaxy Council's 1,000 species, the result wasn't just victory, it was transformation. The Devourers, expecting to find isolated civilizations to consume, instead encountered something they had never faced, a galaxy that fought back as one. Not through force or domination, but through something far more powerful, the conscious choice to protect each other. "Admiral," came a familiar voice. Chen turned to see Dr. Vasquez approaching, her eyes still carrying the subtle glow that marked those who had experienced deep consciousness connection. "The reports from the outer colonies are in. The awakening is spreading faster than we projected." Chen nodded. Across 47 star systems, species that had been conquered by the Galaxy Council were experiencing their own versions of humanity's convergence. Not forced unity, but voluntary connection. Not loss of individuality, but expansion of capability. "And the Council?" Chen asked. "They're adapting well. The leader, he's taken the name Marcus now, says it reminds him of who they used to be, is working with the Proxima Centauri colonies to establish the first interspecies academy. They want to teach other civilizations how to achieve conscious unity without losing their essential nature." Through the window, Chen could see the construction of New Geneva Station, where representatives from over 100 species were working together to draft what they called the Galactic Unity Charter. Not a document of conquest or control, but one of mutual aid and shared growth. Lieutenant Rivera joined them, carrying a datapad with the daily reports. "Admiral, we're receiving first contact requests from civilizations in the Andromeda Galaxy. It seems word of the convergence has spread beyond our local group." Chen smiled. Humanity had gone from being threatened with extinction to becoming ambassadors for a new kind of galactic civilization, one based on connection rather than conquest. "There's something else," Rivera added, his expression growing serious. "Long-range sensors are detecting structures at the edge of the observable universe. The quantum consciousness network has extended our sensing range beyond anything we thought possible, and we're seeing, well, we're not sure what we're seeing." Dr. Vasquez pulled up the sensor data on her portable display. The images showed vast geometric structures, clearly artificial, arranged in patterns that suggested intelligence on a cosmic scale. "Another species?" Chen asked. "Maybe," Vasquez replied. "Or maybe something else entirely. The consciousness network is detecting thought patterns, but they're not like anything we've encountered. They're ancient, and they seem to be trying to communicate." Chen looked out at the stars. No longer points of light in an empty void, but homes to friends and allies she was still getting to know. The universe had revealed itself to be far stranger and more wonderful than humanity had ever imagined. "Well," she said finally, "I suppose we'd better figure out how to say hello." As if in response to her words, every screen on Harmony Station activated simultaneously. But instead of alien faces or threatening messages, they showed something that made Chen's heart skip a beat. It was Earth, but not as it appeared now. It was Earth as it could be. Cities floating in harmony with nature, oceans clean and blue, forests restored, and billions of humans working together not just with each other, but with representatives of hundreds of species, all building something unprecedented in galactic history. A civilization based not on who could conquer whom, but on what they could accomplish together. The message was clear. This was just the beginning. In the depths of space, ancient intelligences that had watched the rise and fall of countless civilizations stirred with something they hadn't felt in eons, curiosity about what this young species might achieve. Humanity had passed their first test by refusing to be conquered. They had passed their second test by choosing unity over domination. Now came the third test, the one that would determine whether they were ready to join the true community of conscious beings that existed beyond the edge of known space. But that, Admiral Chen realized with a smile, was a story for another day. For now, it was enough to know that humanity was no longer alone, and the galaxy would never be the same. The age of conquest was over. The age of connection had begun. And in the quantum consciousness network that now linked billions of minds across thousands of worlds, A single thought resonated with perfect clarity. We are not alone. We never were. And now, finally, we remember what it means to be part of something greater than ourselves. The stars, once distant and cold, now pulsed with the warmth of friendship. The universe had finally come home. The poem. End.